Hi, y'all, and welcome back to the channel and another weekly horoscope. Oh, this week, I hate to say it, but this week is a continuation of this past week. I do believe we will get resolution around things. I do believe there will be like a turning point, probably around the new moon that we have in Leo on Thursday. But because we have Venus, we still have Mars on the South Node for most of the week. I think all of the week. I don't think it's really like clear, fully clear of the South Node until next week. Not only that, we have Mars squaring Venus all week because Venus is in Gemini, and now they are meeting up to challenge one another through the square aspect. They're going to be about 90 degrees apart all week, which is a square aspect. If you're in any of my astrologer courses or have my astrology ebook, then you know what a square is. It is not a fun aspect to happen between two planets, but it does create the potential for growth and evolution through those challenges and through those conflict. But it's not comfortable energy by any means. And on Monday, the moon is going to be on Venus as well, squaring Mars. So yeah, just expect things to not be super comfortable yet. We're not out of the woods yet, unfortunately. And although I am excited July is coming to an end, like thank God, it's also like where did July go? Uh and I'm like not getting any sleep. But anyways, that's the kind of overview of the week ahead. I mean, we're really not like the whole time that Mars is in Virgo until it moves into Libra at the beginning of August is kind of just not comfortable territory. So, yeah, that is the overview of this week. If you know where Gemini is in your chart and Virgo, last week I believe I asked where Virgo was in your chart, but since Venus and Gemini is a major player, adding that energy to that Virgo energy, where's Gemini in your chart? Because those two areas of life are going to be challenging each other this week, where you have Gemini and where you have Virgo. I also got a lot of questions last week about a private, intimate space to share and talk about your chart, which is why I created my Inner Circle membership. So if you are wary about posting all your astrological information in the comments of on YouTube, I understand. That's why I created my Inner Circle membership to give you all a space to connect over your chart that is intimate, that is personal, that is private, and that allows for discussion, that allows me to give you some insight based on your chart as well. So if you are looking for a private, intimate community, that's what my Inner Circle membership is. Links are in the description as always. And yeah, that actually reminds me, I have to take out the timestamps from last week's video of the description of this video. So so there's no confusion about that. Okay, let's get started. Let's get into the weekly horoscopes. Hi, Natasha. Hi, Shadows and Secrets. Hi, Yoni Spa. Ooh, Gemini Rising. Okay, so it's like you and your home are battling off this week. Um, I literally just had like a brain fart. Y'all, sleep is like so important to me, and I haven't been getting sleep, and I like literally can't think clearly because of it. So, thanks for your patience with my mental processing right now. Okay, we're gonna start with this horoscopes. Aries Rising. So, Aries Rising, we really start this week off with the moon moving over Venus in your third house of communication. There could be some not so comfortable things going on for you at work, Aries, or just with your day-to-day errands, what you do on a daily basis. You could really be faced with needing to just have a better schedule, be better organized about what you're doing, about your routine, um, and how that is allowing you to work through any complex emotions or just things that have been coming up for you. As we get in later into the week, there's going to be a big focus Tuesday into Wednesday on your home life. So you might be really focused on just organizing things in your home. Again, whatever you're changing about your routine or your day to day might involve your home in some way, like whether it's setting up a space an altar, a space to meditate, a space to do yoga, a space to have to work out, or really getting like on some sort of schedule. I feel like that's really the biggest message for you, Aries, right now is like, well, how are you organizing your time and your life to better support what you want to do and what you want to create moving forward? And as we're going to have this new moon in Leo in your fifth house on Thursday, that's really going to be about, and all Leo season, and this Mercury retrograde especially, is going to be about reevaluating your creative passions, how you're taking action on those, how you're expressing your creativity. This could also involve children or romance or dating in some way. As that, all those themes and all those things play into your long-term goals and your long-term visions that you have for yourself in your life. So it's really about getting clear on what your foundational needs are, so that you don't like spin yourself out because you have no grounding practices to help you expand into what else is needed in your life. But just watch out for, some hot-headed communication as well this week, if I haven't already said that. With your chart ruler squaring Venus in your third house, it could make for that. It could make for some heated conversation if you're not careful and aware of that and how you're expressing yourself and your needs. But I do feel like there will be some healing around creative inspiration, or if you've been feeling like lackluster energy, I feel like as we get into the weekend, there will be a relief of any depressive or lethargic, melancholic energy that you've been feeling. It might be related to needing to voice your needs and communicate yourself in ways that maybe you've been shying away from, but are really, really needed for you to have whatever changes within your foundation, and your day-to-day life that are going to be more expansive for you moving forward. So let me know how that resonates with you, Aries, in the comments, and I will see you next week. Okay, Taurus Rising, we start the week off with the moon over Venus in your second house of money, of possessions. So you might be really downsizing. You might be really taking a second look at your finances, your money, where it's coming from, what you're doing with it, how it's being created, or just like, again, what you're doing with it and what habits and things that is creating in your life. At the beginning of the week, and really, until we get in the weekend, for most of the week, Monday through Thursday, there's going to be this big focus on evolving not only your possessions, but how that's tying into your creativity. There might have been some energetic blocks for you. There might have been, especially over the past couple of months, like this just big need to rest and take downtime, and not, I feel like you just haven't really wanted to do anything. And so there might be this big energetic shift as we get into the weekend this week around your needs and around your kind of day-to-day energy as well. There's a lot of, I mean, because you've not had the energy to do a whole lot, you've really reevaluated what you're doing on a daily basis to take care of yourself. So that's getting a boost, especially as we, Wednesday into Thursday, before we have this new moon in your fourth house. There's going to be on Wednesday this expansive energy around your day to day, what you're doing on a daily basis. You might get some breakthrough about what needs to change to give you more of a feeling of support and nurturance within your home, within your roots, within your foundation, as that may also be a big theme of the Mercury retrograde and this new moon that we have on Thursday, also in your fourth house. Is what new intentions do I need to set around my home, or maybe if you're in real estate or anything like that, there could be a lot of reevaluation about your home itself or your relationship to your possessions again. And that could create some positive changes within your finances, but it could just feel really challenging. You might be up against like your ego and your pride on what exactly to change about your life. Maybe also involving your career too. It's like you're really feeling pressured this week, Taurus, to make all of these changes, not only to your foundations, but to everything else about your life that extends outward from your literal foundations. Um, then as we get into the weekend, I do think you're going to receive that clarity, and maybe just have a breakthrough moment, like I said, and have the energy to like act on whatever breakthrough you receive. the sun is going to be opposite Pluto in your fourth and 10th houses. So again, that could really create this inner shift and transformation around your home, your roots, your foundation, and how that extends into your career in some ways. Um, yeah, it's really all about your inner world for you right now, Taurus. So what's going on there that needs just a little bit of reevaluation, or needs some things need to shift there to just feel better about your life, so that you feel better about everything else that ripples out from that. I think I've already said that, but that's really a shift for you this week, Taurus, is your inner world, and getting clear on what you need in your inner world to have a better outward world, if that makes sense. So let me know how that resonates with you, Taurus, in the comments, and I will see you next week. Okay, Gemini Rising. This week, there is a lot of tension between you, your emotional needs, the change that you're experiencing at an internal level, maybe with your appearance, maybe with your sense of self, maybe with how you're communicating yourself, and what's going on in your home life or your living situation. It feels like there's just a lot of maybe chaos that you're trying to get a grip on organizing, and it's just not going the way you've wanted to. So that's where the main friction this week is going to be for you, Gemini, is between like you and how your home and maybe your inner world, maybe childhood stuff is coming up a lot too to work through that you didn't even realize was there. That's really going to contribute to this whole rebirth energy, this whole new beginning as it relates to you, your sense of self, your identity, maybe even, like I said, how you communicate yourself too, and how you present yourself to the world around you, as we do have the Mercury retrograde in your third house. Um, yeah, I mean, that's going to be the theme for most of the week. Wednesday and Thursday, you could be kind of focused on money, how you're, reevaluating long-term goals, or just feeling maybe more emotionally expanded in terms of your finances and your money, your material possessions. Maybe you're even like downsizing stuff so you can feel more expansive within your home, or feel more like the things you do have really matter to you, and they really feel supportive to you, as opposed to just having all this stuff that you're like, what is all this? Like, I don't need all this. It's just cluttering up my space, blah, 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 So it's, I feel like you're really, you're clearing house, like in a huge way. That's not only going to provide you more energetic support and just how you feel, but more like physical support as well in your actual space. Then as we get Thursday into Friday, we have that new moon in your third house, in Leo opposite Pluto in your ninth house. There could be some big breakthrough around your inner communication, your mindset, your just how you're viewing life, your perspective of life could really be experiencing a big shift. Maybe that's through some community support, or a friendship, or a new community, or whatever that you're integrating yourself into, or a new relationship with social media that's helping with that more expressive feeling. Again, I feel like you've done the work all week to clear, and now you're stepping into something new. And I think it's going to help with your creativity and how you're expressing yourself overall, not only with your friends, but in your inner worlds, like your inner talk, but also like at every level. Maybe you'll be feeling more creatively inspired to share on social media as well, that benefits your finances in some way. Um, and then as we get into the weekend, I just really see you integrating all that came up and feeling renewed. I really feel like you're going to feel this refreshed energy after the kind of tension and pressure and challenge that you experienced for most of the week. So that is the week ahead for you, Gemini. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. Okay, Cancer Rising. We start the week off with the moon in your 12th house. It's on Venus, and they're both challenging Mars in the South Node in your third house. So this could really be some big breakthroughs and shifts around subconscious stuff, maybe past life themes, if you're into that. But otherwise, like, it's really the subconscious blocks are being brought up for you to look at, or maybe around your communication, your inner world, and how that's playing into like what you do on a daily basis, like what habits you have, what patterns you have. that either support you or that don't. And you're really just like cleaning up the the clutter of what doesn't support you so you can step into what does. Now that might extend positively into your career as well, especially as we get later into the week. And on Tuesday into Wednesday, you're gonna have the moon challenging Saturn and Neptune in your 10th house. So there could be some big breakthrough that comes through a challenge or a conflict at work or within your career that prompts for this realization of this just spiritual renewal. Like, I don't know why that word came through, but this big, like, spiritual sense of self renewal is happening. And it's really building up to this new moon that you have happening Thursday into Friday in your second house of possessions. And that's also where the Mercury retrograde is for you, Cancer, is on your resources, your tangible physical things that you have in your reality. So you might be downsizing, you might be just figuring out how to shift things in your home or shift things within your finances that help you to feel more creatively inspired or passionate about what you're doing and how you're sharing it with the world. That contributes to this breakthrough that you've had around what you want to do, how you want to share yourself, how you want to show up to the world. It's really a lot of maybe money stuff too. And it does feel like a positive shift, especially as we get later into the week. Like I said, Friday with this new moon, and into the weekend. It is this positive breakthrough, this positive shift around your finances and your money. And maybe if there's something you've been wanting to create and share and start it and you've been putting it off, this might be the perfect time for you to really like take action towards it and share it with the world, because you kind of have cleaned all of the gunk up within everything that needed to like just be cleared out and organized. And so now you have the space to expand in ways that maybe you have been feeling like you need to and want to, but it just hasn't been the right timing. I feel like this weekend you're going to get that kind of push to act on whatever this is, Cancer Rising. So that is the the silver lining of all the challenges and the maybe friction you'll face leading up to this weekend. So that's what I have for you, Cancer Rising. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. Okay, Leo rising. We start the week off with the moon on Venus in your 11th house. There might be some challenges within your community, within your friend group, or maybe just feeling like clear emotionally about your long-term goals and your long-term visions. And that might be at a direct challenge or conflict with your finances, or maybe even possessions too. Like I just kind of see you maybe having this crisis moment of like, I need to downsize, or I need to get rid of some stuff, or I need to change my approach to how I'm viewing everything to experience that shift and that innovation in this area of life that you really are wanting to have. With Mercury retrograde happening in your first house, there's a lot of reevaluation happening, Leo, around you, your sense of self, maybe your self-esteem, maybe your appearance, maybe just how you view yourself and how you express yourself to the world is really going through a big reevaluation. And then on Tuesday, we have the moon entering your 12th house, which I never love the moon in the 12th house transits. It feels like dark night of the soul energy. So you might be feeling that middle of the week, Tuesday into Wednesday, leading up to this new moon, of like really going into retreat mode, really going into hermit mode, really looking at yourself, your subconscious, and just your inner world, and maybe doing some cleanup there of like, okay, what habits do I have, or what things do I have that really support me, and what things don't, and clearing them, making the way for this new beginning that is coming for you. I feel really, really soon. Even if it feels like it's been a long time getting there, I do feel like you're going to experience breakthroughs through all of this. There might be some sort of breakthrough or shift you experience, especially on Wednesday as the moon's going to move over Jupiter in your 12th house. Whatever subconscious things there are that maybe you haven't been aware of are going to get an illumination. And then I do feel like this new moon we have on Thursday in Leo, opposite Pluto in your 7th house, there might be somebody in your life that's helping you step into a new identity or helping you to feel more secure in yourself. in how you view yourself and how you think of yourself and how you express yourself to the world. So this new moon in Leo is going to be a big renewal of you, maybe changing something about your appearance, or it could, be, since Mercury is still retrograde, more of an internal shift of like viewing yourself differently and not extending to the rest of your life and starting to view your life differently as well. Maybe this breakthrough really brought up a lot more than you expected that it would. And so you're really kind of later in the week, especially around this new moon, like processing that and setting intentions for how you want to move forward with that understanding, that clarity that you receive earlier in the week. There could also be tension, on Friday, as we are going to have the sun opposite Pluto around the new moon as well, between you and your needs and what is going on within your relationships. But that's a temporary thing. It might just be a mood that, or emotion that needs to be expressed to be released. And then on Friday, as we get into the weekend, you might be feeling the shift from everything that has come up and processing it, integrating it, embodying it. You might get an emotional look at what's going on within your mindset as it relates to you, your appearance. Like I said, everything around you, your sense of self, your identity is getting this huge reevaluation and introspection. And on Friday, you might be feeling like there might be some emotional clearing that happens related to that. But I do feel like it's changing how you view your life, and it's just changing everything about your life, even if it feels subtle. These are huge, massive changes. So just give yourself some grace through all of these changes as well, because they're kind of chaotic and sudden. But I do feel like they ultimately will be beneficial for you in the long run, Leo. So that's your week ahead. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. Okay, Virgo rising, we start the week off with the moon on Venus in your 10th house. This could, you might have been feeling really busy with work lately. There could be some emotional look at your job or look at your career, and that's at direct conflict with your sense of self, this identity that's been shifting in you. I believe I said last week for you, Virgo, that this Mars on the South Node conjunction for you would be a big rebirth, like a big sense of self shift, a big identity shift, like a really heavy one. This isn't light energy at all. This is a once in an 18-year transit, the South Node in Virgo. So this is like massive personality, identity, sense of self changes. And right now it feels like wherever your career is pulling you might be at odds with that. It might feel like there's conflict or challenges between what's going on in your career and your ability to look at what's going on with you. Does that make sense? Um, Especially on Monday. And, that could also continue to be a theme throughout the week, as we're going to have Venus and Mars squaring each other there for you as the week progresses. On Tuesday, there could be some friction between your long-term goals and visions and money. Those are also have been super big themes for you, Virgo, is what's going on with your resources? What are you doing with your investments, taxes, debt? Like, how are you handling all of this stuff, and how are you being responsible for it? There might be some emotional need to get clear on that on Tuesday. And then as we get into Wednesday, I do feel like there could be some breakthrough around feeling more nourished, supported, and having a sense of expansion with your long-term goals and visions. You might get emotional clarity through whatever came up around the money stuff on what you want to do moving forward, or how you want to share yourself within your community, what you want to contribute. That feels mutually supportive and nourishing for you. And with the sun opposite Pluto most of the week as well in your 6th and 12th houses, there could be this energy for changes in your career, and you're not necessarily, I mean, yeah, in your career and in your work, like what you're doing on a daily basis, and then what kind of career that is building for you, those habits and those daily routines are building for you. And it might have you really looking at some subconscious things. I mean, it's where the Mercury retrograde is for you in your 12th house. It's reevaluation and introspection around your inner world and illuminating that so you can make necessary changes. Also, where this new moon in Leo is going to be for you, that we have on Thursday opposite Pluto. So that could really be the shift of like I got the clarity I needed through whatever challenges came up all week, and now this is what I want to do with it. This is how I want to move forward. This is the new version of me that I'm stepping into. This is the new intentions that I'm setting, the new beginning I'm really being maybe bold and courageous with and about, and not holding yourself back anymore from being honest about what you want in your life. Maybe there's been a little in the background, a little guilt or a little, I want these big things, but who am I to have them? Who am I to, all that kind of stuff. It's like really kind of the self-esteem thing. And this related to like how you're viewing yourself as worthy of these things that you want. So that could be big themes that come up around the new moon, shifting those, integrating, especially on Fridays, you have the moon joining Mercury retrograde in your 12th house. So an emotional illumination of those inner thoughts, that inner world. So you can make the necessary shifts. And then as we get into the weekend, there will be an emotional renewal for you as the moon moves out of your 12th house and into your first house. And the moon is starting to gain light after the new moon, illuminating what needs to change based around that clarity you received and the intentions you set. So that's the week ahead for you, Virgo. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. Okay, Libra Rising. We start the week off with the moon on Venus in your ninth house, challenging Mars and the South Node in your 12th house. This could be some big emotional release around your perspective of life, your values, maybe this story you had of yourself around worthiness or what you're deserving of. This could be a really deep-seated subconscious belief that's been coming up for maybe quite some time and really being illuminated this past week of like the kind of dark night of the soul, like this whole spiritual inner world subconscious illumination of what really needs to be let go of and what new story you need to step into to have the life that you want and to have this big renewal and rebirth of energy. As we get into Tuesday, the moon moves into your 10th house, challenges Saturn, Neptune in your 7th house. There could be some friction or challenges between somebody in your life, a relationship, and how you're showing up in your career. I mean, you're with Jupiter, with the Jupiter square, we had a Saturn, Neptune in these areas for you. There's been a lot of challenges between your relationships and your ability to show up in your career, and really this kind of juggling act between the two. So you might get emotional clarity around that on Tuesday. And then as the week progresses, you might be feeling this emotional renewal and this expansion of your career, and maybe feeling like you're able to spend more time on what you've wanted to do in your career that your relationships or a relationship or somebody in your life was pulling you away from. But it does feel like now that's kind of resolved itself or is resolving itself. And so you're able to focus more on your career now that that is kind of cleaning itself up and coming to a resolution. Then as we get into Thursday, we have the new moon in your 11th house opposite Pluto in your 5th house. Again, this could be some big renewal of your energy, of your creative passions, how you're sharing yourself with the world, how you're maybe putting yourself out there on social media, how you're showing up to the world around you, to your community, and providing value. I mean, that's also where the Mercury retrograde is happening for you, Libra. So there could be this big new beginning that happens within your community, social media, based around whatever you have been reevaluating there, and will continue to get more clarity around how you want to show up from this Mercury retrograde that we have going until August 11th. But the new moon happening there is really like, okay, what new beginning is happening? What intentions am I setting here to have a new kind of relationship with this based around what has been reevaluated, and is getting kind of an introspective overhaul. That could be amplified on Friday as the moon moves over Mercury in your 11th house, getting this kind of emotional clarity or emotional look mentally at what changes you want to make to how you're showing up within your community. Maybe friendships as well. Maybe there's a big reevaluation of who's in your life or your relationship with them, and you get more emotional clarity around that as we head into the weekend. And then early next week, Libra, I'm seeing this big emotional renewal for you, but not to get too ahead of ourselves. That's this week for you. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. Okay, Scorpio rising. We start the week off with the moon on Venus in your eighth house, challenging Mars in the south node in your 11th. This could be some big conflict around your resources. What's going on with money, how you're making it, what you're doing with it, where you're investing it, where you're spending it. Um, and maybe that's at odds or feels at odds with your long-term goals, your long-term visions, how you want to show up in the world, and really what you want to be known for in the world. I mean, Mercury retrograde in your 10th house, big reevaluation of how you're showing up in your career and what you're being known for, like what legacy you're building in terms of your career. And I think as the week progresses, that's really you're gonna get a lot more clarity around that. It's also gonna be the big theme of Leo season for you and this new moon, especially that we have on Thursday, and depending on whether or not the new moon is squaring your ascendant, it could also challenge your identity. It could challenge how you view yourself, and how your perception of you is playing into how you're showing up and how you're sharing yourself and your gifts with the world and what build. Again, it's all about your legacy that you're building right now and getting clarity around how you want to do that, what it looks like. On Tuesday, there could be more perspective shifts, maybe again around what you're doing on a daily basis. Like you might have this big breakthrough through something that feels really challenging or feels really frustrating. Like you're like, oh, instead of applying for jobs, why am I not building like my social media? Like I could literally be putting the same amount of energy into either one, and applying for jobs right now feels like it sucks the soul out of me. So why not do something that I enjoy that's gonna, produce better results, even if it challenges how you view yourself. Does that make sense? So there could be some big push for that this week, Scorpio. Um, yeah, especially it's really almost like the universe is like, okay, you don't want to you don't want to take action on this for yourself. We're gonna force you to do this. That's the energy. Then we have like I already said, we have the new moon on Thursday in your 10th house. So how do you want to show up? What do you want to be known for in the world? What, that's related to your passions, that's related to your joy. That's related, it's going to require some boldness, some courage on your part, but I do feel like it is being supported at this time to have that new beginning and to be not only setting the intentions of what you want things to look like, but taking action on them, as the new moon is also going to be harmonizing with Saturn and Neptune. It's kind of like this wake up call to start doing what you want to do. As we get into the weekend on Friday, you might get more emotional clarity around that, and how that's showing up for you. It might again be this like aha moment of, I just really need to start doing this and not psych myself out of it, not talk myself out of it, but really just like put it out there and hope for the best, like, and trust that the universe has a plan that is better than what you could have created for yourself. Does that make sense? So big changes, Scorpio, for you this week. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. All right, Sagittarius rising. We start the week off with the moon on Venus in your seventh house, challenging Mars on the south node in your 10th house. There can be some big unexpected shifts within your relationships that maybe challenge your career or challenge how you're able to show up or take action in your career. There's some big conflict or tension for most of this week between your relationships, the people in your life. Maybe it's one, maybe it's multiple, and how you're showing up in your career. It does feel like there's this big push to release something there, and there has been, and this is really the pressure, the challenge, the conflict, to have that full release this week. As we get into Tuesday, the moon is moving through your eighth house over Jupiter. It's going to challenge Saturn and Neptune in your fifth house. So there could be some big clarity around creative passion or pursuit, maybe finances, resources, things like that, what you're doing with it, how you're feeling really nurtured and supported in your life as well by your resources, or how you're using your resources to feel fully supported. That could be related to some big perspective shift that's happening for you, or some internal mindset shift, as we are now in Leo season as of Tuesday, and the sun is opposing Pluto in your third house. There could be this big push and pull between, the perspective you have of life, the stories you tell yourself, and how that's playing into what you do on a daily basis that maybe needs a reevaluation and a transformation. And I believe that's going to be the biggest theme of the new moon in Leo for you, Sagittarius, is what new stories do you really want to be telling yourself? What perspective of life do you really want to have moving forward? And I mean, the Mercury retrograde is happening there for you in this area of your life, giving you this chance to reevaluate the stories that you tell yourself, maybe how you're showing up, maybe related to travel as well. That could be a theme. As the ninth house, ninth house is so multifaceted. Really, most of the houses are multifaceted, but the ninth house is it's your perspective of life, your experiences, your wisdom, your international affairs and higher education. So what about that is getting a renewal, or what about that is prompting for you to set new intentions there, to have some new beginning that has been going through a reevaluation since Mercury went retrograde at this point in time, a week ago. So big renewal of just how you're viewing life. And again, like I said, that probably is going to start to change a lot of other stuff too, and maybe support this whole like, I don't even know how to articulate it. It's like this big release is needed for you to step into something new, and there might just be something in your mindset that's delaying that or stalling that you'll get clarity around shifting this week. Maybe over the weekend, as we head into the weekend, Mercury will be joining the moon in your ninth house as well. So that gives the energy of emotional clarity around whatever this is, so that you can take action on it. You know where you're going. And then after that, it feels like processing, integrating those changes, and making them as needed in terms of your career. So that's the week ahead for you, Sagittarius. Let me know how that resonates, and I will see you next week. Okay, Capricorn Rising. We start the week off with the moon on Venus in your sixth house, challenging Mars on the south node in your ninth house. This could be some big shift around work, around what you're doing on a daily basis, your habits, and how that's contributing to your mental health, how that's playing into your stories of life, and how you're viewing the world around you. There could be some big perspective of life shift based on changing something you do on a daily basis, or something about what you do for work on a daily basis. There's also a lot of reevaluation going on in your finances, your resources. Big focus for you, especially with this new moon that we have. But before we get into the new moon that happens on Thursday, Tuesday and Wednesday, the moon's going to be moving through your seventh house. There could be some emotional challenge between a relationship and what's going on in your home. But I do feel like you are being heavily supported by your relationships right now, even if there maybe is some emotional challenge around that or friction that comes up Tuesday into Wednesday. There could be some big shift too of healing emotionally that happens for you Wednesday into Thursday, and then we have that new moon in Leo in your eighth house, opposite Pluto in your second house. There could be a positive shift around money and setting intentions. Maybe it's just getting more structured about paying your taxes or your debt, or what you're doing with your resources, investing, whatever it is. You're having There's some big internal transformation around your money that supports what you do with your money. Does that make sense? And again, with Mercury retrograding in your eighth house, it's really a huge focus for the next couple weeks. Then especially on Friday, as the moon moves over Mercury, so you might get more emotional clarity around that. And then as we get into the weekend, there's going to be time for you to really focus emotionally on your perspective of life. Again, what came up earlier in the week, integrating it, processing it, and taking action as needed to have those changes that you want to see based around the intentions that you set with this new moon. So that is the week ahead for you, Capricorn. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. Okay, Aquarius Rising. We start the week off with the moon on Venus in your fifth house of romance, dating, creative passions, and pursuits too. Maybe there's been a sudden shift there. Maybe related to what you're doing on a daily basis, where you're going. I feel like there's a lot of potential for, if you're single, meeting somebody and really changing your single status. Or if you're in a relationship, there's maybe breakthroughs that are happening within your relationship that are really positive and really beneficial for you. But it does feel like there might be some challenges between your romance, dating, creativity, and your resources. maybe you're going through this big shift of your debt, taxes, how money's coming in, what you're doing with it, investments, things like that. That needs a reevaluation, that needs an organization, a cleanup so it can change. And there might be a lot of friction for you towards that this week so that you do make the necessary changes that are needed there. As we get into Tuesday, the moon is moving through your sixth house over Jupiter. Before it moves over Jupiter, it will challenge Saturn, Neptune, and your third house. So this feels like some big breakthrough maybe around your routine, your errands, what you're doing day in, day out, where you're going, who you're talking to, that kind of thing. This could also be a reevaluation of your inner world, like more so specifically your communication styles. Depending on where your rising is in Aquarius, you know, Pluto could be really close to it. So that could be contributing to that as well, like really transforming your inner world, really transforming you, and that having this ripple effect of changing everything about your life. So really have your grounding practices and people that really feel supportive and empowering for you, because that's going to help you make these shifts, especially as on Tuesday Leo season begins, putting the sun in your seventh house opposite Pluto in your first house. There may be some illumination through your relationships that of like who is helping you to have the transformation or who is not, what is supporting you and making the changes about yourself that are needed, and who is not. Or what is not. Again, this could relate to your daily habits and things that you're physically doing as well. I believe that will be a big theme of the new moon for you that we have on Thursday is what, you know, intentions, what new beginnings do you want to have in terms of your relationships, in terms of who you're putting your energy towards and around, who's in your life that really feels good to you versus who doesn't. So there could be a lot of reevaluation there, and clarity on what you want that to look like for you moving forward. Also, I think I've already said this, but a big theme of the Mercury retrograde for you as well is your relationships. That will be heightened as we get into the weekend. It was after the new moon. The moon moves over Mercury in your seventh house, so there could be some emotional clarity around that mentally. Just realizing someone isn't who they said they were, or what have you. You're going to get a lot of clarity around who you want to have in your life and who you don't, and how that's playing into all of these other themes and changes that you are experiencing in your life, Aquarius. So that's the week ahead for you. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. Okay, Pisces Rising. We start the week off with the moon in your fourth house on Venus, challenging Mars in the south node in your seventh house. So this could be some big tension or friction between your home, your family, maybe, or childhood beliefs, things from childhood that maybe are coming up for you to work through. There could be somebody in your life reflecting these things back to you that you didn't realize were still like deeply rooted in your subconscious or in your psyche. So they're coming up and it's challenging, it's frustrating, it's not easy, but they're coming up for you to evolve, to grow past it so that it doesn't keep repeating itself. As we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, the moon is going to move through your fifth house. You might be feeling this emotional renewal of your creativity because of whatever this is that came up that you emotionally worked through. But before the moon moves over Jupiter, like early on Tuesday, the moon is going to challenge Saturn and Neptune in your second house. So there could be some boost of creativity around money, that maybe, you know, there's this emotional challenge around money and you have a breakthrough through feeling those emotions and looking at what was going on there. You might have some breakthrough around your creativity, and you might share something, launch something, do something differently that does positively benefit your money, and kind of turns that around real quick. And then that could create some healing around money for you as, we get into Wednesday and the moon is going to challenge Chiron in your second house. Then on Thursday, we have the new moon in Leo opposite Pluto and Aquarius in your 12th house. There could be some illumination of your subconscious, again, these beliefs that maybe have been playing out about your work, about your value, about really how, like what you're doing on a daily basis and how you're speaking to yourself and your habits are contributing to the life you want or holding you back from it. There could be a lot of clarity around that and making those changes that you receive insight around could positively benefit your money. Again, it's like whatever you're working hard towards in terms of your finances and your possessions and your creativity and work, it is like building something. Just have faith that it's all it's all coming together, even if it doesn't seem like it at times, like it is. And again, this all comes down to how you're talking to yourself and your subconscious beliefs, right? That are getting a reevaluation right now and asking for you to transform them. So these things don't keep repeating in the same ways in your life. And I think with this new moon, you're going to get this reinvigoration of, okay, this is actually what needs to be done. Maybe especially on Friday as the moon moves over. Right after this new moon, the moon moves over Mercury, might get some emotional clarity mentally around how to shift your belief systems as it relates to your work and your value and your creative things, and seeing them as valuable, seeing them as worthy of being paid for them and contributing to the career that you want to have, and the type of life and freedom that you want to have as well. So that's the week ahead for you, Pisces. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. Okay, let me take a second to read you guys' comments. And then I'll let y'all go, and I'll see you in the next video. Yoni Small says, just did that this week. Okay, amazing. Shadows and Secrets says, my Chiron is ruled by Gemini in the 7th house, but my 7th house is in Taurus. I've got my 8th house in Gemini, my midheaven in 10th house in Virgo. Ergo, this past week has been rough. Oh shit, yeah, for sure. Because like everything we have right now pretty much is like right on your stuff. I feel you. It's not comfortable at all. These transits are not comfortable, and I hate being right sometimes. I've been saying this about July all year, that it would be really, really rough, and there would be these massive like changes, and they would be super uncomfortable, and here we are. Yoni Saw says, you're always so on point, literally looking into storage now. Oh my God, that's amazing. Hi, Wendy, if you're still here. Natasha says, I'm Cancer Rising. I'm very happy with this much needed subconscious revelations coming my way finally. Amazing. Yeah, I feel you. I don't know if y'all saw, where did I talk about this? I talked about it in my Inner Circle membership Q&A that we had last week on Wednesday. Yeah, because it happened on Tuesday. I had this big like emotional breakdown near panic attack that was very, very like dark night of the soul, like 12th house transits in a nutshell is like going to the depths of your subconscious and feeling what is there. So release it so that it doesn't keep repeating itself, like running in the background. You know, we're really like computers. Like we have this base programming that is our subconscious. And if we're not creating space to have time to sort through what's there that isn't benefiting us, then it's just going to keep playing out. So that's I really have shifted from this whole thing, my perspective of 12th house transits, because the Mars South Node conjunction is in my 12th house, and that was just so rough. But afterwards, I felt like a huge relief. I felt like, oh, that was like literally this like dead body in my subconscious, like taking up space and energy, and I just like went there, cleared it out, and now I feel like a weight has lifted off my shoulder. Does that make sense? Natasha says, I'm also putting off starting my tarot reading journey for lack of trust. Stop. Don't even write that. Control Alt Delete. No. That is how I built this business, y'all, was through tarot, and I had to do readings to build my trust in my intuition. I didn't even know what intuition was, or that I was like gifted psychically, until I started doing readings for people and they confirmed it. So do what you're scared to do. Like that's probably what you're supposed to be doing. Wendy says, yes, good evening. Good evening. All right, well, I'm getting off here now. I love you all. Thank you so much for being on live today. I hope this week is everything you need to wrap up all of this chaos and these challenges and have a whole new beginning and rebirth. So I'm excited, and let me know how it turns out for you. Come back and let me know. I love you all, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.